ladies and gentlemen, this is Hallback from NATC TV, and I'm really excited. We're here with the voice of Tampa Bay, Mr. Frank C. himself, and we're also here with the sponsor, the reenactment, Frederick Douglass himself, because he brought Frederick Douglass to life. So everybody give him a hand for this great we're going to be having this, shot all over the world. We're going to have this shot all over the world. As Frank said, they had done something. Frank, you do a lot of things in the community. You're a community server as well as a great force of community. Why did you take an interest in doing this, and why was Frederick Douglass, this enactment, so important to you to do?
Well, first of all, I know Frank C., but I'm Randall C.
Randall C.
And just to hear the story of Frederick Douglass, very inspirational. I've actually learned something here today. Stuff I didn't know. I thought I knew a lot, but the reenactment, the monologue that he did was wonderful. I learned some things, and I'm impressed. And this should go on further and further for our kids. Our kids should be here to understand this so they can pass it on to their kids. The kids today, they don't seem to take an interest in stuff like that. Our history, where it all come from, where it started, and make it possible for the things that's happening now. And I was very impressed.
Yeah. And about the whole program itself.
The whole program itself.
And the talent.
It was wonderful. The talent. We had some young folks here, I think from Blake High School, School of Arts. We had a young lady here from Plant City, Gospel Songstress. Everything was just wonderful. Recital. We had a young man here reciting poems. He's getting married, and he can't help but get married. She couldn't help but say that. But anyway, I just enjoyed myself. Everything was just wonderful playing, and I appreciate you guys for having me.
Yes, Donald, you and I go way back. You called me several months ago. You said that, hey, Frederick Douglass was coming to town.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he was going to be here like it with everything. So, everything was nice to me. And you had this this idea. This is your baby. This is your vision for Tampa. And, of course, we put Tampa on the map in a, very good way. We're going to have a delegation over in Africa right now. So this is going to be live feed straight to Africa, Nigeria, Liberia, all in East and West Africa. They're all going to see what we had tonight. What inspired you? Because obviously you put so much into this. I came on with you as a joint partner, as one of the corporate sponsors, but as the head sponsor, the senior sponsor of this, what inspired you to do this whole thing, and why did you do it on Black History Month?
Well, one of the things, because of the fact that I do have the blessings to work with youth day in and day out, and just asking them some of the questions in reference to Black history and hearing their response, unfortunately, the responses that I was hearing were not enlightening me, meaning that they were lacking a lot of knowledge in reference to our history, where they come from, and as it's stated, if one don't know where they come from, how they going to know where they're going? So that brought to mind that I would do something of this magnitude in reference to Frederick Douglass. And it's kind of funny, though, because I grew my hair to this, or I was growing my hair, and I would look in the mirror, and I'd say, wait a minute. I see a character here. And that character that I was seeing was no other than Frederick Douglass. So that prompted me to go ahead on and go forth with this. So with prayer and support of my beautiful family, friends, and the encouragement, I pushed on with it, and here we are.
As you was, it was incredible. Actually, I forgot, you my friend, we've been knowing each other a long time. I didn't see Donald. I ended up just seeing Frederick Douglass. So really, without being what brought that so much to life, and why were you able to get so hard into that character of Frederick Douglass? And bring him truly as though that was Frederick Douglass himself. It was something in common with you and him, or what was the connection that rooted you to that character?
It's funny you say that, the parallel, because a lot of things that Frederick Douglass went through as a child, my life, I went through something similar. And not only did the childhood parallel, but once Frederick grew up as an adult, and his speaking ability and motivational aspirations, I saw right then that that was the parallel that put us together, the childhood and the adulthood. And of course, today I am a motivational speaker, and I do travel and I do speak. And those were the same things that Frederick did back in his time.
Well, that was great, you know, ladies and gentlemen.
I think Frederick still lives on.
He still lives on.
He's still speaking through the grave, because just like you said, Donald was not there.
Correct.
I was listening to Frederick. I mean, he had captivated me, and I was like dead on the scene, as if Frederick Douglass was in the building.
Yeah.
So he lives on.
He lives on.
If I may add one thing, since you brought that, I'll piggyback on that. One thing in reference to the promotions and the flyers and what have you. I made it a strong point to keep me off of the, keep my picture out the way, keep my name off of it, because it had nothing. I didn't want people to get confused with me and Frederick. I wanted this to be solely Frederick Douglass, not Donald Dowridge. I really didn't want the Donald Dowridge to come in until they saw me standing there.
Correct.
Because I'm just a small figure standing on a giant shoulder, and that giant shoulder was no other than Frederick Douglass. And I hope that I did him justice. I hope in his grave he is smiling.
You probably, it's a great event. Coming from Billsville, we have that freedom. The only place that's still free, that was born free and stuff like that. And it was a special privilege for me understanding freedom the way I understand freedom and trying to hold freedom alive. Building that and using that for a model. I think that we did something very historic here. I think this is going to be remembered. I just want to thank all the audience and everybody who participated and made this event happen. It's probably going to be, this is going to go all over the world. This is a major event here in Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay could be very proud of what we have achieved here tonight. I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank you, Randall. I want to thank the WTMP for always being a good community servant of this community. And we want to thank everybody. Thank you all very much. And thank you again. Don was a nice man, a corporate sponsor with you. And we hope to do this again.
Thank you very much, Donald Hallback.
Many times in the future. Many times.
Come a mighty long way.
Come a mighty long way. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I want you to mention your motivational also. I want you to mention your motivation.